our guest speaker, Millie, will take us through the topic, setting up your roadmap to business growth. Let me just give a little brief on our guest speaker for today. In the year 2022, we are going international. And because of that, we have brought on board our guest speaker from South Africa called Millie. Now, Millie is a director of operations for Vinton Consulting Group, an internationally accredited life and entrepreneurial coach. She's a facilitator, she's a speaker, and she's into skills development. She's a specialist in that area. She's a marketplace minister and a business development consultant. Look, you are getting all of this today for free. Okay, Millie has worked in the field of community development, education, and entrepreneurial development in the United Kingdom, Kenya, and South Africa. She is power-packed. Her passion includes developing the potential of youth through training, coaching, mentoring, and SME development. Okay, now she has trained, coached, and mentored more than, pen down this number. She has trained, coached, and mentored more than 300 SMEs and cooperatives in South Africa, and is on a mission to impact more businesses. Millie is among a group of 5 women who have developed a leadership program for African women in the continent and in the diaspora. Okay, so she's here to impact on you as well. And so please have your pen and paper, make your notes, write down your questions. There's going to be a question and answer session so that you can also engage with her. If it were somewhere else, it would have been a session that you would have paid hundreds of dollars to actually attend, but we are bringing this to you for free. So with a lot of emojis, guys, with a lot of emojis on your screen, let us welcome our guest speaker, Millie. Thanks, guys. So you can go on. Yes, please. Welcome, Madam Millie. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My goodness, what an introduction. I'm just wondering if I'm going to do justice to, the amazing introduction that you've given me. I feel very privileged to be here. And I hope that, at the end of today, we would learn from each other, because I never, ever assume that I know everything. I believe that every interaction, every communication brings possibilities for new learning. And I embrace the whole concept of lifelong learning. So thank you. I just want to find out if I have hosting rights to share my screen.
Yes, Millie, you do. Yes,
great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, then let's go for it. Okay. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, fantastic. Alrighty. Okay, so without much ado, I just want to take you through why we are here today. So as you can see, it's setting up your roadmap to business growth. And it's a privilege, as I said, to be here and to do this for, the people of the continent, actually, because I'm originally Ghanaian by birth, although I grew up in the UK and married a South African. So I've sort of, I'm all over the place, but I see myself as an African, and it does not require any, geographic demarcations. Just being an African is who I am, and very proud of that. So today, as we start, I just want to give you a quick overview of what we do at Vinton Consulting Group. Now, The group, it's part of Vinton Holdings, which is a company that owns HR and recruitment companies, training. Oh my goodness, we even have a publishing house and we have a foundation as well. So I feel very honored to represent the consulting group, which is the training arm. And my job is to ensure that the school, the training college, which is a private training college, is up and running and providing the services that it intends to provide to our clients, whether on the continent or elsewhere, because we do have a global reach. And, the beauty about COVID is that it has enabled us to also now create what we call a global village, because we can access people everywhere in the world. And just to give you just how incredible that is, the leadership program that we have, over the first cohort we had were of almost 300 women from as far flung as Australia, New Zealand, the United States, UK, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, you name it, all over the continent. And it was amazing because technology has enabled us to do that, to do this. And today I'm here because of that as well. So we are a very professional business solutions company. And as you can see, we specialize in strategic consulting services. You've heard my background. I'm a coach. I do both life coaching, entrepreneurial coaching, and sometimes executive development coaching as well. So I cut across quite a number of spectrums, but today I'm here to just impart a little bit of knowledge, hopefully for us all to have something to chew on as we progress through the year. Okay. So this is our topic for today. Now, when we discussed the whole thing of, your roadmap to business growth, I thought, well, what exactly is that? And there's so much on the World Wide Web about business growth and so on. But I thought, well, let me narrow it down and look at areas that will really impact on how we do things as business people. And so today we're going to cover how your mission, vision, and your values align with your business strategy. We look at leadership with integrity, and I think that's going to challenge us a little bit. So I'll delve into that when we get to that section. And then we'll look at finance, as well as your internal business processes, learning and development, customer focus, and I also have some suggested reading for you as well. So let me get on with it. Okay. So when we talk about our mission and vision, okay, one question that I want you to actually ask yourself, and please note it because it's very, very important. Your mission, vision, and your values is actually your strategy. That is what informs what you do as a business person. If you are already in business, you've been in business for 6 months to a year or even 5 years, they say that for a small business to really call itself successful, that business should have been operating for at least 10 years. So when you've reached that 10-year milestone, it means that you actually now have a business. Up until that point, the business could fold. And as COVID, okay, can I ask that if anyone is not speaking, they can put themselves on mute as well so that we can all have an amazing experience. Thank you. So COVID has obviously taught us that, even the business that pre-COVID was very successful could fold. In South Africa, many businesses have folded, especially some of the training companies. And so you find that even if a business has been around for 6-7 years, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is completely stable. So what I want you to do is to really look at the future that you want to see in your business. If you can picture your business 5 years from now, what would it be? What would it look like in terms of your staff, in terms of the services you provide, in terms of the freedom it affords you in order for you to spend more time with family, spend more time by yourself, and so on. One of the things my children have said to me often is, gosh, you're always working. And the truth is they are actually right, because for a lot of us in small business, until we reach that possibly 10-year milestone, and I'm not saying every business takes 10 years. There's some businesses that become phenomenal, ventures in less than 10 years, but the vast majority, that is the reality. And so you find that you will work at that business until it gets to a point where it grows its own arms, legs, and begins to crawl, walk, and run. Okay, so think about that, because that's going to become important as we go through the other topics. Also ask yourself the question, is your vision visible to both your internal and external stakeholders? Your internal being your staff, being your business partners, anybody involved in your business. Your external stakeholders being your clients. Is your vision visible? Can they, when you say that this is the vision of the company, can they see it? Is it real? You need to ask that. Okay, and then ask the question, do yourself, your staff live the vision and the values of your company? So there's no point putting words on paper, because oftentimes when we write business plans, that's what we do. We put this shopping list and we say, this is the vision of the company, to be the best. What does the best mean? It can mean anything. The best at what? So ask yourself, is your vision and values of the company alive to your staff? Do they live it? Are people able to see it? And can they relate to it? The other thing that's important also is, can your staff clearly explain your vision, or even the mission and the values of your organization? Now, there's an organization in the UK, they're called Investors in People, and they actually train companies to make their mission, vision, and their strategies so visible that the cleaner in the company should be able to talk about the vision and the mission of the company. So in other words, don't say, oh, only strategic people in the company should know what our vision is. If the cleaning lady or cleaning gentleman is able to talk about your vision, it means that you are on the right track. And those are some of the questions you need to ask yourself. And then ask yourself the question, does the vision, mission, and values of the company actually help your company? Does it bring more income? Does it bring more customers? Is it something that people talk about? Those are questions you need to ask. If you're looking at your roadmap for business growth, you need to look at this area. It's very critical because it informs everything else. All right. Then we have leadership with integrity. Okay, so what is that? Okay, now here I've used Michael Jensen quite a bit, because I think what he says is very, very sound. And you know, I understand integrity as doing things right, even when no one is looking. So as a leader in your company, how are you living integrity? How are you demonstrating integrity? And here we're told integrity is a matter of a person's word, nothing more and nothing less. It is not about ethics. because ethics is about societal, constructs and so on. This is really about, are you a man or woman of your word? When you say something, are you going to do it? So without integrity, the workability of an object, system, person, group, or organization declines. And as workability declines, the opportunity for performance declines. Therefore, integrity is a necessary condition for maximum performance. It's one of the articles that I'm currently reading. So I'm also learning from it. And every day I'm challenged by the thing of integrity. If I say that I'm going to do something, and even if I can't, integrity is not about just always being able to do what you say you're going to do. Integrity is also about being able to own up and say, I know I said I'm going to do X, but I can't at this moment because of certain circumstances that I've encountered and so on. So think about it, you yourself as a leader, where is your level of integrity? How consistent are you in terms of the things that you say you're going to do? So if we look at the organization and how integrity of an organization is defined, okay, it says an organization or any human system is in integrity when it is whole and complete with respect to its word. This includes that nothing is hidden, no deception, no untruths, no violation of contracts or property rights, etc. That is to say, an organization honors its word, internally between members of the organization and externally between the organization and those it deals with. This includes what is said by or on behalf of the organization to its members as well as outsiders. To give you an example of how I live integrity, some years ago, we had a major contract, coaching contract with Vodacom. And it was for succession development program. So we were coaching up to about 50 people. Every 6 months or so, they would give us 50 new people to coach with their succession development process. It got to a point where we realized that our business systems and processes were in tatters. In other words, we were struggling. We were not doing great with certain things, even in terms of paying people on time, in terms of getting reports out on time, and so on. And what we then did was we went to Vodacom and we said, we would like to withdraw from providing you with a service. The HR manager at the time just looked at both of us as if we were crazy. This was myself and my partner, as if we were absolutely crazy, because that was the biggest revenue generating contract we had. And we said, yes, you are happy with our service right now, but we don't want you to get to a point where you are unhappy, because that would actually be worse. And so we would like to graciously discontinue providing you with this service when this cohort of employees have finished with their coaching sessions. The HR manager then accepted what we had said and said to us, they've never experienced anything like it before. They wish so many other providers would be like us. And when we have our systems in place and we feel that we can offer a good service, we should come back to them. And that was unprecedented. So if you think about it, as a business person, can you honestly face the mirror and say, I'm not doing a great job and I'm going to walk away from this? If you can do that, then you will be definitely on the right path to phenomenal business success. That is how I live integrity. It is constant. It is something that I live and breathe. And I know that I have a long way to go. I'm a work in progress, but that is how I live. And because of that, I actually also am able to really retain my staff, retain clients. Sometimes even when I take long to deliver on certain things, clients will still come to me. There have been clients that have taken their business elsewhere when I've not been available to serve them. So yourself as a leader, these are things that you need to look at. Okay. Then we look at finance. I'm going to try and speed up a bit because I can see that we're going to run out of time and I have so much to say, but I will try and do justice to this. I know that this is an area that Oze is already really working with you guys on, and I believe that they're doing a phenomenal job where that is concerned in terms of helping you to invoice your clients, track your income, and also providing you with critical finance guidance to help you with your business. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about accessing finance, because I think that is often one of the things that really impact on SMEs, especially in the early stages of our business. Nobody trusts us enough to give us the money, but there are creative ways of making money. I have learned in these past, especially during this COVID times, that actually you can access money quite well, even without getting a loan from a bank, a loan from a friend, a loan from family, and so on. And that's why I've put creative ways to access funding. For the Women's Leadership Program, we actually set up a GoFundMe campaign. And what we did with that GoFundMe campaign, we put our story out there. We said why we are doing this. We want to create or contribute to an Africa that works for all. What does that translate into? Developing the potential of our people. We are a continent of very young people. Our mean age is about 17. So if you look at us as a continent, and very soon surpassing even some of the larger countries like China and so on, because the Chinese population is dwindling. It's getting smaller and smaller. Africa is still growing. And the projection is that by 2030, actually, we would be second only to, I think, India or China. Okay, so because of that, we need to develop the potential. That is a beautiful story. When you hear something like that, you say, wow, yes, indeed, we need to develop the potential. We need to grow the leaders of the future in order for our continent to thrive. We know that as a continent, we are going to be critical for providing the world with a workforce. And if we're not trained well enough, that's going to be a problem. So that was a story we put out there. And within 3 weeks, we managed to raise $7,000 USD. Okay, we managed to raise that. Now, imagine if we had started the campaign maybe 6 months earlier, we would definitely have raised at least $40,000 to $50,000. And that was creating a story and putting it out there. We got, some of our amazing young women to do a 30-second or 2-minute video, and we put it out there with it. So they're creative ways. And if anybody is interested in knowing more about how to do that, when it comes to the reading, the suggested reading section, you will see that I've actually put a book there that's going to help you all phenomenally. All right, so that's that on finance. Let's go to internal business processes. I think that's so important. At the end of the day, especially as your business is growing, you realize that you need to make sure that your systems and processes are in place. I gave you the example of us exiting from our Vodacom contract because we could not deliver. And this was not Vinton, by the way. This is my company some years ago. And it was because we didn't have the systems in place. And when the business started to grow and we started getting more clients, we were battling to keep up. And so you need to actually ask yourself, do I have these in place? So your enterprise management, that is your strategy. Do you actually have a strategy? Again, let's go back to the question of what is the future I want to see for my business going forward? If you can envision that, then everything else can flow. Are your financial management systems in place? So at least you've actually addressed one critical aspect, because oftentimes that's one of the areas where SMEs fall badly. You have addressed it by partnering with OZE to help you to manage the finances of your business. And if you don't have a coach outside of OZE, you can actually find even finance coaches that will help to really consolidate what you are being taught through the OZE partnership. Your facilities management, in other words, where you are actually residing, your offices, your premises, and so on. We had a very rude awakening just before the COVID lockdown in March 2020. We literally moved into a new office, I think around February 2020. And before that, we were in an office facility that didn't cost us so much. We upgraded, and then COVID happened. And we ended up in debt of almost $500,000, not dollars, R500,000 because of it. And we're still having to pay off that debt. So you can see that your facilities management is important. When you're going to new business premises, can you afford it? Is your business actually doing enough for you to be able to take on that kind of expense? I know that there's some beautiful hubs that I saw when I visited Ghana, and I was very fortunate. Winnie took me on to some of those to see what the facilities were like, and it was beautiful and inexpensive, which really means that you can shop around and find something that is conducive, that will still give you the professionalism that you need. Again, your equipment management, your laptops that you use, desktops, whatever facilities you use, your printers, you've got to look at all of those. Can you afford to buy maybe the most upmarket, or can you get secondhand that's good, in good condition? How else can you get equipment? Maybe you could even share with another small business. Those are some of the things that you need to look at. Your employee management. If you've got staff, even if it's one staff member, how are you looking after that person? How are you looking after the people that make sure that when you are running around looking for contracts and so on, your business is still functioning? I look at my staff as an extension of my household. My household is loved, is nurtured and cared for. And that is how I look at my employees. So if I look at my employees as an extension of my household, their well-being is critical to me. If somebody is battling financially, if somebody is not well or not whole, I'm there. I'm able to really work with them to try and address these things. How you store your information. Now we've got what we call the POPI Act. There's so many issues around information management and how people's information can now be in the hands of this group or that person and so on. And so even how you store your customer information, your staff information, all those things are important in terms of ensuring that your internal business processes are functioning effectively. All right. Customer development. again, how do you look after your customers? Are they top of mind for you? Are they the most important aspect of your business? How do you keep in touch with them? How do you ensure that you're meeting their needs, and so on? Product development. Are you constantly developing new products, coming up with new ideas that are going to help you to provide and keep up with the demands and needs of your customers? Your suppliers. How do you make a decision about which supplier to use? Is it just a simple thing of, oh, I'll get 3 quotes or whatever number of quotes, and then I will decide? Or do you have something more concrete? In other words, are they aligned to your vision? Are they aligned to your values? You know, the saying of not being unequally yoked. If you've got a supplier who cuts corners and does not believe in quality and so on, that is unequal yoking, because if you're about quality, if you are about consistency and excellence, then you don't want a supplier who's going to be tardy and really embarrass you. Your operations, how are you managing the day-to-day running of your business? Again, those are important conditions. Your service management, your improvement management, so your strategies around how you're going to go from A to B. If you talk about the fact that, you know, in 5 years from now, this is what you see about your business. Well, how then are you actually putting the right improvements and processes in place to address that? Those are the things you need to look at when it comes to internal business processes. Okay, we're coming in for landing, guys. I know that, you know, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to talk too much about these, but there's certain things that I felt I needed to just emphasize a little bit. When it comes to learning and development, and those of you who are familiar with the balanced scorecard, you would see that I've used the balanced scorecard approach in talking about these areas. And we started with finance, then we looked at internal business processes, and we're now looking at learning and development. In your company, you need to be able to know what skills you have, so you can do a skills audit. If you don't have knowledge of how to do a skills audit, these days, there's so much on the internet. It's not everything that you have to pay for. In fact, as SMMEs, you should really be looking at how much you can get without paying for it, okay? And it's not a poverty mentality. It is simply a thing of, there is so much out there in the public domain that is free that you can actually access to build your business. We have an SMME simulation tool that we actually use to develop entrepreneurs in our company. One of the things that I have vast experience in is managing incubators, business incubators. And so we partnered with a company to develop an SMME simulation. It is incredible. And we use that to enable us to do our jobs effectively as small businesses. You've got apps. There's so many apps out there, and the one that has brought us all together is Oze. And so you can see that you can do some research and get more information on other apps that will complement what you already have. You can assess your staff using the BOSSI. BOSSI stands for Builder, Opportunist, Specialist, and Innovator. In any company, you will have staff members or partners who will demonstrate or show one of these traits. You may be the builder in your company. A partner may be the opportunist, which means that person's going to go out and do a lot of the marketing for you. The specialist is the person who will just, you know, for example, I've developed the app and I know that it's going to work, and I've put all the processes in place to make sure that it's a perfect app. Those are the specialists who may not necessarily be your builders or opportunists. And then you've got the innovators, the dreamers. One of the quotes that I absolutely love is where it says, you know, all men dream, but some dream in the day, and those are the ones who are dangerous. Dreamers are dangerous because if they put their dreams into action, they can actually be incredibly successful. The Genius Report is something that I've recently been promoting, and it is incredible. Again, you can use it for developing your team, for developing yourself, and tapping into your own potential. If you're in business and you don't research, then you are actually not doing yourself justice. I research everything. If I'm going into a company, I want to know what the company does. I want to know what their pain areas are. So when I say pain areas, what are the things that keep that company awake at night? Because that is where you can come in and say, I think I may have a solution for you. There are lots of training organizations that are online. One of the ones that I use is allison.com. I've done Spanish. I'm trying to take some other courses because I'm very much into trying to learn languages right now. And then there's Google Learning as well. Another area that will serve you well is team building and teamwork. Building your teams. Sometimes team building doesn't have to be so high-powered and intense. It can simply be just taking your staff out for the day and having a blast with them. The one year I took my staff out and we actually went to one of the botanical gardens here in South Africa, and we did a barbecue at the park. I brought in a 5-star chef to barbecue for them and serve them as well. And it was such an amazing experience, because after that, morale in the workplace was so phenomenal that I was like, wow, maybe we need to do this more often. And that is how you can build your team, and so that your business can also grow, because when you invest in people, they invest in you. There are lots of tools and templates, again, on the World Wide Web that you can access. There are people around you that may have tools and resources that you've never imagined. You need to talk to them. And always, always have the sense that you are a lifelong learner. So knowledge acquisition, read books, read articles, network. Networking it doesn't have to be you getting up and going to an event and shaking hands and passing out business cards. A tip about networking: if you do go to one of those where it's physical, where you're in a place where you're meeting with people, please always try and see if you can ask the organizers to allow you to speak, even if it's for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Ask them if you can speak. Once you've spoken, everybody will come to you. You never have to go to people and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, what's your name? People will come to you because they will see you as a speaker. So that's a tip for networking. But other forms of networking, for example, LinkedIn. You can network phenomenally on LinkedIn. And again, as somebody mentioned about the WhatsApp group and generating income of 80,000 cedis. I mean, that's amazing, fantastic. So there you go. There's so many things you can do to continuously learn and develop yourself and your team. All right. Very quickly, are your customers the most important people to you? So if they are, what are you doing to make sure that every time they interact with you, it is a phenomenal experience? So customer management has got to be one of the critical aspects of your business. Do you care about your customers? Are you offering them relevant services? Are you listening to them? Are you honest? For example, go back to the issue of integrity. Are you delivering exceptional service? Those are important. As you can see, Kotler says human-centric marketing is defined by brands that approach engaging their current and prospective customers via advertising and marketing tactics as a whole human beings with hearts, minds, and spirits. See me as a person, see me as somebody who lives, breathes, cries, and so on, so that when you are developing a service for me, that is what you look at. There's a restaurant here in South Africa. I tell people I go there not because it's cheap or anything. It's one of the most expensive restaurants, but every time I go there, when I leave, I feel like I've gone for a massage, because the service is so exquisite that you just feel like, wow, I just had a spa treatment. It wasn't like I went to have a meal. And that is what you want to be able to convey. So think about how your customers are to you and what you need to do to ensure that you retain them, because you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of customers. What you do need to be able to have is be able to do is to retain the customers that you currently have, because you can continuously be selling new things to them. If they're happy with your service, they will come back and ask you for something else. So you need to be cognizant of that. Okay, we're coming in for landing. I have read practically every book here, and it's not an exhaustive list. There is so much more out there. I mean, it's mind-boggling how many books there are. But one of my favorite ones is Good to Great by Jim Collins. And he gives you some incredible nuggets and pearls of wisdom about, customer service that will blow you away. I love Maverick, Ricardo Semler, because that was, for me, the most innovative approach to managing and growing a business. I'm not going to tell you the contents of these books, but I can tell you that if you read any of them, it will help your business to grow, and the roadmap will just become even more real. So you need to read and read and read. And as you see here, it says we read to know we're not alone, because all these books here talk about experiences that entrepreneurs go through, the difficulties some go through when the business is growing, situational leadership. It's about knowing what type of leadership style to employ at any given time, depending on the situation that you're encountering in the business. Who moved my cheese is about change management, whether we sit on our hands or we act. So it's important. If you're an entrepreneur and you don't read, then you're not serious. That's all I've got to say about that. And that brings us to the end of my presentation.
Wow. Thank you so much, Millie. This is power-packed. This is really power-packed. Sorry, I just cut in. I felt you wanted to jump in again. Please go ahead. This is really interesting.
No, it's fine. I know we don't have much time left, and I don't know how many people have questions or contributions. And perhaps if we can indulge, maybe by going over by about 5 minutes, just so that people can also share, because I would love to learn from everybody as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Millie. Guys, we can take 2, 3, 4 questions. We can go over 5 minutes more or so, but please keep your question very brief, straight to the point. We already have one person whose hand is raised. Sweet, please, you can go ahead. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. You can also write your question in the chat. If you're having probably an audio challenge as well, I'll read it out. So let's go.
Yes, thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. I have really enjoyed the enthusiasm in your presentation. The question is, we were talking about networking or connecting, and you don't need to personally meet someone one-on-one, or you don't need to go for a meeting to meet people for networking. You were talking about it, that part escaped me a bit. If you can throw more light on how you can network more or get more people for your business.
All right, thank you for that question. So the point I was making is that we now have so many networking platforms. WhatsApp is a networking platform. LinkedIn is a networking platform. There's Clubhouse. There's Twitter Spaces. There's so much. You need to explore all of these. I've given presentations on Twitter Spaces. I've set up my own Clubhouse and so on. So you don't have to get up and go to a hotel for a networking cocktail in order to network. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Millie. And also to add to what Millie said during the presentation is that instead of having to go to an event and meet people one-on-one, you can also take the opportunity to arrange with the organizers of the event so that they can give you maybe a 2 or 3 minute slot to actually present or talk about something that is in line with the whole event, but also market yourself. And the minute you do that, you get people looking at you and say, this guy is an expert. They'll be very much interested to come to you to have conversations with you instead of you having to go and introduce yourself. Hi, I am Prince and I work at Jose. That is exhausting, right, Millie? I hope I captured it right too for you.
Perfectly. It has helped me so many times where people actually come to me and you're thinking, oh dear, have I pulled the rug from the original presenter? Because that's all it's about. The moment people hear you speak, they think, oh, wow, that person's an expert. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Millie. Yeah, we can take 2 more questions, guys. We are really packed. I can see people comment in the chat. One said, this is from Afichiaou, says, this is really power packed. I've been informed greatly. Thank you. Then we have another one too that says, in fact, that's from Olanyo. In fact, I was driving, but I parked at once for full concentration. Very great meeting. Thank you, madam. I've learned a lot and we'll put it into practice. We have Francis that also is saying, thank you, Millie. Thank you, Jose, for this learning opportunity. I love your reading list. Thank you. Thank you. Millie, we would really appreciate if we can get maybe a PDF of the slides so that we can share it to the participants of this session as well. Whilst waiting for some questions, it's 7 o'clock. Just to do a little bit of a rundown, what I have learned is this. Now, your mission and vision is actually your strategy as a business owner. And you need to be able to get even the cleaner in your company to understand that as well. And then leadership with integrity. Look, do you honor your word? As a business, you need to honor your word. If you tell your customers you will deliver maybe on Saturday at 4 p.m. It shouldn't be Monday at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. All right. Finance, income, and expenditure has to be on point. And you can also use creative ways to access fund, like the GoFundMe. Guys, please go ahead and do research on GoFundMe. And as an Jose user as well, keynote is that you get access for funding from Jose. You can apply for a loan from Jose. You don't need to be a very active user. The minute you enter 10 or more transactions, you become eligible for that as well. And then internal business processes, you need to strengthen that and cut your quotes according to your size. The last bit that I got also was the learning and development. You need to do skills audits. You need to improve yourself. You need to find where you fall short on and then improve. And you have free courses for that. And Millie shared those with us. And assessment, that is the interesting part too for me. Bossy, you have a builder, you have an opportunist, you have a specialist, and then we have an innovator. Which part or which one do you fall in? Assess yourself on all of that. Millie will be very much excited to have conversations with you on that as well. So please, when we share the slides, reach out to her, engage with her. She'll be very much excited to take you on and assist you along this journey. And the training platforms, one of the training platforms too that you can access is Allison or Google Learning. So guys, we got one question. Let me go through the chat and see if we have some more. Now, in the chat, you can see that we have an Ose link and an Ose Facebook page that you can join if you are here and you are not in that group, where we'll be posting the slides, where we'll be sharing more information to power up your skill as an entrepreneur. Please click on that link, join our group, and then we'll go ahead and engage with you more. We really appreciate the time that you have made to join this session. Millie, we are really, really excited. We believe this is the first of many opportunities with you. We are hoping to have this with you going forward. And guys, let's give Millie a lot of emojis for this marvelous work that she has done, guys. Let's give her a lot of emojis. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have permission from my boss that I should identify those who have not given emojis so that next time we don't add them to this session. So please go ahead and give Millie a lot of emojis. Millie, we are really excited and thank you so much. We won't spend much of your time. As we said, go ahead and practice this. Expect more of the slides coming from us. Thank you, everybody, and do have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.